Forget the glitz and glitter. It'll leave you drunk and bitter. Broken teeth and bleeding gums.
Hello?
Hi, is that Rod?
Oh, it is. Hi.
Hi, it's Jane here. It's weird. It kept telling me you were offline, but I tried calling you, and there you are.
Oh, there I am. Can you see me?
Oh, that's not good. He's frozen. You know?
I can hear you.
Good. I can hear you too.
Great. So, yeah, we're here to talk about Mask of the Red Death, and I guess I'll just start off by tell me your recollections of it.
Well, I think I was 16 or 17 at the time. I remember, one of the strongest memories I have, sadly, is that it was the year when Kennedy was shot. And of course, being very much an American production with an American star and an American director, the very famous, fabulous Roger Corman, everybody was extremely upset. I mean, not to say that we weren't devastated in the UK as well, but naturally the American part of our production were, even more affected by it than we were. And I can remember the shocked silence on the set as we all stood and took it in. So that I have to say is one of my strongest memories, not surprisingly. Otherwise, I of course remember Vincent Price as I'm sure anyone else you've spoken to will tell you, the most charming, civilized, well-educated, lovely guy. I mean, one of the nicest people I've ever worked with. And the wonderful contrast of this charming man doing all those horrific films, albeit with his wonderful sense of humour, is, I think, what makes him so special.
How did you end up getting cast in the part?
I can't specifically remember what Roger had seen me, and I know he'd seen me in a few things. So I really can't answer that question. It's always hard to know why you're picked up and asked to be in certain things. And I don't remember whether I had to audition for it. I don't think so. I think I went along to meet him and we had a chat, and he said, "Yeah, this is definitely the way I want to play it." So I don't remember it being particularly difficult. I mean, and I leapt at it. Of course, I knew the stories of Edgar Allan Poe in any case, and it was clearly a very clever adaptation, kind of bringing two or three of the stories into one. And, of course, the reputation of both Roger Corman and Vincent Price went before them. So I jumped at it. And as with many horrific stories, and this has been so in many productions in my career, it was so much fun and very funny much of the time on the set. It's almost as if the most sort of unpleasant the thing you're working in story terms, and the more blood and gore and horror, the funnier things have to be. It's almost like you kind of work against it. And, of course, it isn't like it appears on the screen, when a makeup artist rushes in with a bucket of blood and chucks it all over the place. It isn't in any way as horrific as if somebody was literally bleeding all over the floor. So the whole process becomes very practical, and in that way often very funny.
On that note, how would you describe Corman's directing style?
Very efficient, very fast. He knows exactly what he wants, and you don't do a lot of takes. I'm just trying to remember. You don't do many takes because he knows so specifically what he wants. He puts it across very well, very clearly. Again, a charming guy, and I saw him not that long ago. He came over to London and we met, and it was lovely to catch up with him again. Yes, I'd say that's my main memory of him. Is it's very efficient and very speedy. And I know he's kind of famous for getting things in on or under budget. And I remember also that we had this rather wonderful castle set built in the studio, and I remember he was shooting lots of film on various parts of the set with nobody in it, and he said he was going to be able to use that in future productions. I mean, in every way he's incredibly sort of organised and practical, and just very easy to work with because he put across so well just what he wanted.
Obviously he did a lot to prepare. Were there any specific kind of things that he did to help you prepare for your character?
No, I don't think so. It's one of those wonderful, you learn your lines the night before, you turn up on the set, he tells you how he wants it, and you get on with it. I can remember the agony of doing the scene in the bath, because at that age, whatever I was, 16, 17, of course, you're so horribly shy. I mean, since then, during my career, I've had to do several nude scenes, and you kind of get used to it. But at that age, it was all very agonising, and I think I actually had little sticky things over my nipples, when I sat in the bath, because I was so shy, and they kept floating off in the water, and having to kind of push them back on again. So that I can remember that being really agonising, and the cameraman sort of sighing and looking a bit fed up with all this ridiculous modesty. And of course, when you look back at yourself at that age, what were you so scared about hiding? If only one looked like that now, we wouldn't be nearly as worried. But I can remember that very well. But my co-star, the young man who played my lover, an actor called David Weston, who I did 2 or 3 other things with, including playing to his Romeo at one stage, was absolutely sweet and charming. And I think we found it great fun to work together.
Your father and your lover are being quartered in a warm and safe place.